Hi guys, it's Ray here from City Fan TV, and I'm joined today by friend of the channel, Martyn Taylor, who, as a young lad, played for Bournemouth, for the town, and he played at the Old Dean Court. And how you doing, Martyn?
I'm doing well, thanks. Yeah, really enjoying the sunny weather.
Excellent. You've got a bit of a football history, haven't you?
A little bit, yeah, a little bit. So I only represented for the town and for Dorset as the county in the old days. And I grew up in Guernsey, and I played with Matt Le Tissier when I was under 11. I was a goalkeeper in those days. He was centre forward. He was about 9 at the time. And I remember him scoring 5 past me when our school played his school once. I was a teacher in the East End as well for a little bit. And Lee Boyer was a naughty 14-year-old in my class at the time. He was on Arsenal's books in those days.
So, guys, we're here obviously to talk about the Carabao Cup. Is it third round between City and Bournemouth on Thursday evening? So we're going to start off by asking you, Martyn, how was your season started?
I think we've had a great start to the season. I saw the pre-season match against West Ham, which was the Betway Cup, which is just a pre-season friendly at the Olympic Stadium. And Bournemouth completely outplayed West Ham. I couldn't believe it. We bullied them, and we were slick. It was like the old Bournemouth was back again, and they were fresh, like they used to play a couple of years ago. And West Ham were awful, and it looked like they should have been the team that went down, and we should have been the team that stayed up. And so that was a really, really good performance. Of course, we beat Blackburn 2-1 beginning of the season. Good result at home. And beat Crystal Palace last week. Apparently, we outplayed them in the main match, and then we beat them on penalties. And drew with Middlesbrough when we probably should have won. We had a few chances that we could have put away. So I'm hopeful that we're in for a good season. It looks like the old back.
Yeah, the old Bournemouth, absolutely. It'd be nice to win a few games. We need to be updated. Obviously, you've lost players. So who's left already? So who's coming and who could leave?
Okay, so I think you'll know as a City fan that Aki's gone. He played for you last night and apparently had a good debut, I think.
Yeah, he had a good game.
Yeah. So and that was predictable. He was the first player off the books, as it were. But it was so Aki went. Obviously, Wilson's gone to Newcastle, and that's good for Bournemouth because they had to clear some of the salary commitments. And they made good money there, and the young keeper as well, who's gone off to Sheffield United for good money. So we've moved those players on. Actually, I don't think we bought anybody in. What I've noticed in pre-season is a lot of our under-21s are coming through, and actually, when you see them play, they play in the Bournemouth way. So actually, they've just slotted in people who they've had on their books for a long time, and they're fitting in. They're fitting in really well.
Yeah.
And of course, the new person is Graham Jones, the new coach, who's come in as where Tyndall's gone up to be manager, and they brought Graham Jones in, who was managing Luton, but probably more famously known for being Martinez's coach at Wigan. And so I think they brought him in because he's used to playing a similar style of football.
Yeah. I mean, there's talk of interest in David Brooks, but I think Bournemouth were asking for 50 million quid, and that's not happened. Do you think anybody else might leave before the end of the window?
I'm surprised that King is still there, actually. I thought King would have gone. And he hasn't played pre-season, and I think he's had an injury. But I don't know whether he's not playing because they're hoping to sell him.
Yeah,
he's now back in training. I would think that people might go, particularly some of the teams that are struggling in the Premier League, might thinking we need a striker. Let's bring King in. He can score goals. I think Brooks people may just be worried that he gets injured, and so another season in the at the level that he's at may suit him. I don't know, but Bournemouth get the money if they can get it, I think.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, one of the reasons you have to sell players is to balance the books, get some money in, take some high wage earners off the books, because the drop from Premier League to Championship in terms of the TV money is huge. It's an absolute gulf. And fortunately for Bournemouth and anybody else who goes down for the following 3 seasons, they do get some parachute payments. but the drop off is huge. And I can't remember. Was it Leeds got something like, I think, 8 million quid or something like that in the Championship for for their TV deal. I think it was that, and because they were shown the most. And anybody in the Premier League will get at least 100 million. So you can see, if you're cutting your cloth accordingly, you've got to move some players on.
Well, I think the sales have compensated for that. 80 million so far, and probably maybe up. Well, we may hit 100 million if we sell King and so on. So, yeah.
So obviously you've got hopes and dreams, like any club has that goes down, to bounce back straight away, get that promotion. So, do you think you can do it this season?
I'm hopeful. I think we can. I think you'd say that all three teams that were relegated have probably think they've got a chance because they've got the parachute payments, and they've still got, Bournemouth is pretty much, they're playing the same way. They're playing better now they've gone down than they were at the end of last season. I think that's about confidence. So I think Bournemouth have got a definite chance of going up. But as you know, the Championship's a really difficult league to get out of because you've got teams that are really flying, like Brentford from previous seasons, and they always think we'll move the shout. You've got some teams with historic money anyway, the bigger clubs, and you always wonder what Derby County are going to do or Nottingham Forest are going to do. And then Bristol City are flying. But so I think Bournemouth have got a good chance. They're playing really good football.
Yeah. Okay. Obviously, you briefly touched on that in the last round when you beat Palace in the second round. Obviously, Palace, a Premier League club, you beat them on penalties. How was that game? How was that penalty shootout?
Penalty shootout was amazing. I mean, it was amazing because every single outfield player scored a good penalty. It was well placed. They beat the keeper fair and square. There weren't any dodgy penalties. It was like textbook stuff. Like you don't normally see it in England, but 20 penalties back to back going in past good goalkeepers. And we won that. It could have gone the other way, of course. And then you'd think, well, we'll just concentrate on the league. But it's actually put us through to think that we're playing Manchester City so close to the last game.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, we had our first league game yesterday, and Pep said because of our schedule, we've got, if we beat Bournemouth, we'd have 5 games in 13 days. And he said basically he's going to play the kids. I don't think he'll play just the kids. There will be some other sprinkling of first teamers as well, I think, who are coming in, back from injury or COVID or like Mahrez. But do you think you could have a chance if you play your first team because you are confident and you've had a good start to the season? You've already beat a Premier League side. What do you think you could do if you play your first team?
If we play first team, and I think we played quite well at the end of last season against you. We only lost 2-1, and you didn't have your best team out, so you had Stones at the back, which was a big advantage for us. So I think if we play our first team and you play your youngsters, it could be a good game because Bournemouth play good football, and I still think City will probably win, but it's going to be a really good test to see where Bournemouth are. Are we at the Premier League? We thought we were a Premier League team. We were disappointed to go down. So can we still mix it? Yeah.
Well, excuse me. I think the final question is going to ask you for a score prediction, Martyn. What do you reckon the score will be?
So I'm going to go for the same score as the last match, 2-1. I think you will be more clinical in front of goal than we will. We will create chances. The question is, will we put them away? Solanke is not yet reliable in every game. He started to score towards the end of last season and started to score at the beginning of this season. But we need people who are going to... You need a Wilson who's going to put it away every time.
Yeah. I mean, I think you will be lucky in the sense that we had 7 players out last night, and I reckon probably more than half won't be ready. So we will have to play more kids. People like, I think Garcia might be ready, but he might be being sold. I'm not sure Cancelo will be ready. Laporte, for instance, he's just come back from the COVID-19. Gundogan's got COVID-19. Obviously, Aguero's long-term injury. But, yeah, I mean, I'd take a 2-1. That's what I was going to suggest, a 2-1 scoreline to City. I think we will still have a few top players. People like Mahrez might play. People like Ferran Torres, the new kid we've signed, he might play. If Zinchenko's fit, he might play. And we've still got a sprinkling of good players, like Otamendi can come in, and one or two others. who are, if Bernardo's fit. I think it's going to depend. If we get 2 or 3 of these 7 back, I think that's going to be even more difficult for you. But I think a 2-1 seems reasonable. There you have it, guys. Bournemouth versus City, or City versus Bournemouth in the Carabao Cup 3rd round. I'm going to say a massive thanks once again to Martyn, and hopefully, Martyn, we'll do this again next season when you get promotion.
God willing. Great.
Thanks very much, mate. Thanks.
Okay. Bye-bye.